starring Jenna Ortega and Percy Hynes White, both known for the Netflix hit Wednesday. In this film, we watch as they are two seniors, one unsure of what he's going to do with his life, her seemingly knowing since she was 5, at least in the 5th grade, and not the clash, but definitely the difficulty of trying to reconcile those two lifestyles, especially when both realize there's something there that's worth exploring. So to summarize the film, despite going to the same school, Remy and Bonds are pretty much strangers for most of their school life. But with Bonds seeing Remy while he's hanging out on his friend's roof while smoking, Bond begins to take an interest, and when he sees her going onto a train to New York, I believe to visit Columbia University, he takes his chance. And initially, because Bond stumbles a little bit, it seems she ultimately is not interested. And add in that he says the type of things that make it sound like maybe he's not ambitious enough or doesn't have his life planned out enough, she decides that, you know what, you might be a distraction. Stay away. But Bombs is charming, nice, and while he may not be as ambitious as she may like, there comes a moment where she realizes that, you know what, we can hang out, you seem cool, and as time goes on, and her grip on her feelings and her life loosening, she finds herself having to question, should she or could she make room for Bonds in this grand life plan that she has? Or should she really adhere to her idea of treating him like a dalliance? So getting to the review section, Percy Hynes White straight up seems like he's meant to be like a new heartthrob for those, and I guess he's in Gen Z. And I say that because after watching him at my old ass with Aubrey Plaza, and I don't remember the actress he mainly acted in that film with, it seems very clear to me that with the right script, he's someone that has that next door guy appeal, has this slight hesitation when he's approaching a woman, yet at the same time, even when taking initiative, you can see that, I don't know, there's this sort of sweetness to the way he approaches the person who's supposed to be his love interest that makes it so you kind of get that whole Gen Z or post-millennial, like being more cautious as a man while dating, yet at the same time knowing if something's going to happen, you're going to have to step up and, just be on your P's and Q's. And he handles that in such a way where, yes, it's still awkward. Yes, it can go bad as we see it eventually go with Remy, but there are ways that you can take initiative, be persistent, and that lead to it being charming and not creepy. So the next highlight is that this film embraces and recognizes the challenge of finding love so young and how overwhelming it is. And I don't know for how long I've been quoting this quote from Rowan Blanchard, but the quote basically goes, "We forget that when you're a teenager, everything is literally happening for the first time. Growing up is dramatic, it's emotional, it's sad, and it's amazing." And I feel like when it comes to winter, spring, summer, fall, it recognizes that for most of a person's life, at least at that point, your life has been controlled to varying degrees by your parents or your school. Your parents were dressing you, taking you to school and back, taking you places. Your school set your schedule, what teacher you're with, what classroom you're gonna be in. So they had some kind of control over who you may become friends with, your parents as well. And then suddenly at 18, you're considered an adult. Go out there. You're gonna have to set the foundation for the next 40, 50, 60 plus years of your life. Don't fuck it up. And that's a lot. And then when you add on the whole idea, or else the romanticizing of the idea that you can potentially find the love of your life within the first 20 or 30 years of your life, that's a lot. And as we see through Remy, it's also completely overwhelming. And I just appreciate that this is written like it was done for and by teenagers rather than by somebody who may have a sense of nostalgia, but is completely disconnected from what their characters are going through. Or the last topic, which is a highlight, it's just that when it comes to Remy and also Bond's life, while you are pushed to recognize the privilege, it's not taken to the extremes that it could have been. Because Bonds and Remy definitely live in the suburbs. But it's shown that they're not those kids who are 17, 16, 18, who have BMWs to drive around or go to expensive places or clubs and all that other nonsense. Remy is somebody who studies, wants to get into Harvard, and know that takes work, and her parents can't just sign a check and get her in there. Bonds is someone like many of us who just doesn't want to be miserable for the next 30, 40, 50 some odd years of their life, maybe more. So he's trying to hone in on what can make him happy, or at the very least, give him time to figure that out. And yes, do they have access to a friend who has a lake house they can party at? Yes, but there's like 6 degrees of separation from them to that person. So it's not like you're dealing with these people who, yes, they may be middle class, upper middle class, but next door to them is a rich person who basically they have enough of a relationship with their life, and that person's life is very closely connected. It's not like that. This is a film that allows you to connect with these characters and not have to constantly remind yourself that they have a different life than you do. And I would think for somebody who is of the age of Remy and Bonds, this will make it so that this film allows you to just sit back, watch, relate, maybe get emotional about an ex, or maybe about somebody who got away, and just pretty much enjoy yourself. And overall, with a love story that makes sense for their age and can whisk you into a sense of nostalgia, and potentially cry if I'm being honest, Winter, Spring, Summer, Fall continues to show Ortega's abilities as an actress and paints Percy Hynes White as a potential go-to for romance movies, especially when it comes to late teen or early 20s.